Well, in in the last week, it's well, at least it gave me something to talk about. I will tell you that. First and foremost, I hope this last week that has elapsed since the last broadcast has been a fine one for you. I hope it's been a good one, and I hope the first week of December has been fine for you as well. We have yet to reach the full-blown chaos of the holiday season, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Just give it a few more weeks, and we'll be there. But until then, I hope the weather has been suitable and adequate for you. And if not, I hope it will be soon, and I hope this week has been fine for you. This last week for me has been a busy one. As many of you know, I had to make some pretty unexpected travel a number of weeks ago, and in this last week I found myself making some other unexpected travel for a very important reason, though. Well, that's fine, you make the travel and all is well. This is another thing. I know in last week's show I was kind of talking about, well, you can't take everything for granted. You don't know, you really can't guarantee if you'll be around tomorrow. That's true. To reiterate on another talking point that I also have mentioned in previous broadcasts, but I was kind of reminded of full force in this last week, is the fact that you really can't take anything for granted. And there's nothing you can do about it for good or for bad, for better or for worse. You just can't. Case in point. The computer that I use, for the most part, you might think I have some sort of sophisticated, 3-screen desktop setup with whatever, online shortwave radios in one screen, the audio board for the show on the other, and whatever stocks on the third, or something ridiculous like that. But I just use a laptop. That's all that I use to make this show, because the program and file transfer and everything that I need to compose and create this show is just on this laptop computer. And it's a good computer. It works fine. It runs fine. Good programs, as I said, and that's all that I need. So I just use a laptop. Plus, it's portable. It's just a great computer overall and very durable. So, of course, during this travel, I brought the laptop with me. And it's, again, what I use to make this show right now. And many other things. It's what I use for, to just manage the channel and just browse the internet. I have a phone that can connect to the internet, but I don't really use that too much unless I absolutely have to. Otherwise, I feel more at home using a laptop. Well, anyway, I had known that there was a little issue with the laptop screen before, but it wasn't anything bad. I imagine, think of a piece of ice in the winter, right? Where there's a very small crack on the side of it. And just one bump can just make that crack into a full-blown, complicated fracture, and it's like a fault line just opens up in this, ice, like on the icy surface of a lake, say, in the winter season. I imagine that's what must have happened with this laptop, because all of a sudden, when I get to my destination, I open it, and there is this huge crack in the LCD screen of this device, rendering it obviously inoperable. So, of course, with the screen completely destroyed, you can't really do anything with a computer if there's no screen. So I number one had to see, all right, well, obviously the screen of this computer got damaged in transit. I don't know how it happened, but somehow it did, and right now we're just stuck with the consequences. What are we going to do now? Well, I wanted to determine first and foremost, is the computer functioning? Was it just a cosmetic damage to the screen of the computer, or is the computer itself destroyed? So I connected a desktop monitor that I had here, and I was able to connect it, and I was able to find that the computer itself and everything on it is completely fine. It works 100% perfect, no issues with that. So therefore I decided, all right, I'm going to have to replace this laptop screen at some point, and try my best at that. and I'm going to save the computer. I'm going to salvage it. I don't want to blow money on a new laptop. This one works fine. It still works. It's merely the issue with the screen that could be replaced and fixed, and all is well. So that's where that stands. In the meantime, of course, I needed to find a pretty quick alternative because, well, obviously, this show is on a time frame, and the screen isn't going to be there for another couple of, at least a couple of days. Well, I had to improvise, so I'm recording this show. I'm getting everything down, recording it, and the way I'm doing it is I have to have a desktop monitor connected to this laptop, which works fine but has a broken screen, and I'm just going through this other monitor that's hooked up to it. So some technical difficulties this week, but it could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse. And that's how I try to look at some situations. It might be unfortunate. Yeah, it's not pleasant that the screen broke. Of course it's an inconvenience. Of course I had to blow $50 on a new screen to replace it. And it would have been really nice if the screen had never broken in the first place, and I understand that. But I tried not to let that negative sentiment completely absorb the entire situation. Rather, I tried to see it as, well, the laptop screen broke, but you know what? The computer still works perfectly fine, therefore I can just replace the screen, and it'll be good as new again. It could always have been worse. It could have been worse. It could have broke. The computer could have broke. It could have lost everything on it. I wouldn't have the resources to be able to do the show this week. There's so much worse it could have been. I'm just thankful that, you know what, it was unfortunate, but could have been a lot worse. And that's how I've been trying to look at some situations lately, too. You know, just like with YouTube, with the demonetization. Oh, it is frustrating, and I get very frustrated at the fact that they kind of limit the number of ads and therefore the revenue I can make on YouTube. But I try to say, well, it's awful, but at least we have other ways to still make a profit on that. At least we still have the Patreon, the Teespring, the PayPal, and even there's a few limited profits that still come from YouTube. I try to say, even in those negative situations, I always try to find whatever little glimmers of positivity that there are in them and try and just focus on those instead of becoming completely absorbed in the negatives. And that's just what I try to do. I understand that you can't be unnaturally positive. We all have bad days. We all get sad and depressed, and that's perfectly natural. That's a natural emotion that we all can feel, and all really should feel at some point or another. But to try and combat that so it doesn't get the best of me, I try and focus on whatever little bits of positivity there are, even in these seemingly negative situations. Yeah, just a little miscellaneous lecture, just a little miscellaneous talk to start off this broadcast. That's really all that I have for you, so with that being said, I think I'm just going to jump into some of the music. This first song is a request from Summer, a longtime listener, and she said she wanted to hear the tune Angela by the Lumineers. So we're going to play that song to start off this broadcast. You're listening to V.O.R.W Radio International, the voice of the Report of the Week.